Now presenting Mr. Mike Coyne, Governor's Hurricane Conference board member representing the National Weather Service.
Good afternoon, everyone. Our next award is the Tropical Meteorology Award. It's presented to an individual or organization that has made outstanding or substantial contributions to the advancement and knowledge, application, or understanding of the hurricane forecasting and warning process in the state of Florida. Since 2004, Mr. Mike Boylan has been educating people about trends, model runs, and everything else tropical weather related through his website. He does not forecast, but his dedication and contributions to the citizens of Florida and providing tropical weather information in layman's terms, helping to explain what the forecast trends mean and how to follow all the extensive maps, charts, and graphs located on his website, Mike's weather page, aka spaghettimodels.com. The 2021 Tropical Meteorology Award goes to Mike Boylan of Mike's weather page.
Just click on Mike's page, Drunk Donkey Nation. Well, there'll always be some haters, but they don't understand. Mike's got a friend and 100,000 more across the land. Well, if you want to know it first and you want to know it right and you want to have time to plan, Drunk Donkey Nation tells your friend, Mike, he's your man. And he's gonna tell you all about the wind and the rain. Gonna tell you if it's gonna be a storm or if it's gonna be a hurricane. Don't you worry about the news others try to hide. Click on Mike's page, Drunk Donkey Nationwide. Yeah, here on Mike's page, Drunk Donkey Nationwide.
All right, good evening, everybody. It's Mike here. What's cooking? 8 p.m. Eastern Time. It's September 17th, and we're talking tropics. It's our little special Dirty 30, we call these little 30-minute rundowns of what's been going on today. So I'm going to do that. We have a storm brewing, and it looks like it could be trouble next week. Okay, so let's keep it short and sweet and go over all the latest with what could be coming. Okay, so I'm not going to answer individual questions. I'm not even going to read the comments. Maybe at the end if we got time, but I'm going to go right into 30 minutes of tropics talking, and we talk a lot more in the mornings. I'll be live tomorrow at 9:19 Eastern. We'll show the dogs. We'll kick back a little bit more, but tonight's all about what's been going on today. And hopefully give you some good information and good possibilities, okay? As that introduction said, I won the Florida Governor's Conference Tropical Meteorology Award a couple years ago. And, for basically doing what I'm going to do now and give you a lot of information and the latest models. And I've always been about limited adjectives. Just lay it out there. Here's the options. Here's what I'm seeing. Here's the latest models. Kind of let it go from there. You decide. I am not a meteorologist. I am not official. If you're wanting official information, National Weather Service, National Hurricane Center, please turn the page and go there, because sometimes people think I'm hyping and fear-mongering, which I'm not. I try not to. But we do have something brewing. We've been talking about it for 4 or 5 days now. Okay, now obviously it's getting a little more interest. So 8 o'clock tonight, National Hurricane Center marked our area, so now it's at least somewhat official. 20%. They always start out low. This is a development area for the next 7 days. There's no X there yet. That means there's no true center yet. It's not an invest area because we don't have a center, so we don't have spaghetti models. So it's an area that they're expecting to develop, okay? And I'm going to show you why, but it is marked. They're saying 20% development through next week. Now, this will get increased more than likely, but this is the beginning of what we're going to be watching this next week. Now, timing for this area could be this weekend that we start seeing something develop down there in the Caribbean, lower Caribbean, and models are pulling it northward, okay? We had this posted today. This was a new tropic hazards map. Basically, they did one a couple days ago, and I was surprised that they updated it today, showing you this area very highly highlighted in 60% or greater chances. So I don't think I've ever recalled seeing that ever. Usually it's red or hatched red, but not this darker maroon. So that came out today, just increasing those chances that we're going to see something develop there. Now, it's all because of this. This is a fascinating way to look at it. So let's look at Sunday here. These are wind barbs. This is windy. All right, so we got incoming winds coming off of that Pacific here, okay? We got a lot of winds coming in over on this Caribbean here. And basically what happens is we get a general large area of rotation because of these winds. It's called a Central American gyre. We talk about tropical systems need seeds. Normally these seeds are low pressure areas that come across from Africa. Sometimes the seeds are old cold fronts, okay? Beryl had a seed from Cape Verde Islands, and it developed into a very strong hurricane quick, right? Debbie took a little while. Francine took a little while. They did not have circulation. Well, this type of setup helps plant that seed. And we see a lot of times a system will actually pop off of this and head north. And sometimes they pop off of this into the Pacific. So that's what's starting this thing. And what's, you can see here very well in the GFS as we go forward in time, all this energy and juice and lowering pressures. 1006. This is Monday, Monday 1 a.m. You can just basically see what's going on here. Low pressure starts to develop. This is Tuesday morning, okay? This particular area right here, we know things can happen, okay? I caution looking at intensity models right now because there's no system. Operational models don't really do a good job with intensity. We just have to look at history, a little common sense. There's going to be a lot of warm ocean heat content right here. The wind shear looks to be light. There's going to be fueling coming in from the north to help feed it. So this is the area we just got to watch, and this is Tuesday. This is the latest GFS. And basically it just slowly develops this thing. Once it gets into the Gulf, it starts to develop it. It's a little weaker this run, but again, 987, it's not. Don't ride the emotional roller coaster of intensity models each run. Okay, what is important 7 days out is where it's at, what we could possibly see in. This is Wednesday at 3 p.m. next week. So, that's timing within a week here. So there, that it's really got my attention. Okay, I've been hopefully making that clear. This has got that Florida feel from a lot of reasons why. But just to give an idea, one model's timing, this could be impacted into lower keys as early as Tuesday. Here's Tuesday morning. We could start seeing feeder bands coming in Tuesday night. So that just gives everybody a good heads up if this model verifies. What we're looking at. So there's the latest GFS. It moves it on pretty quick. There's a frontal line that's going to help pull it up. A lot of rain, deepening pressures, and that's the latest run. There's been runs into Tampa. There's been runs into Fort Myers. There's been runs west. So we don't get too locked into these individual model runs, but that's the latest GFS. What I want to show you a couple things here. So we're going to get into these ensembles, the latest 12Z ensemble plots. I know it looks like a lot of jumbo gumbo, but the general trends are this tug and turn here, to the north and a little bit off maybe to the east. There has been a couple outliers going west, but the majority of them are kind of pulling up. The latest gyre is on the right, latest GFS is on the left. So I know it's really hard for, models to be accurate on a system that's not even there, but we can't turn our back on the fact that the models are really, in line with the consistency of this thing. And the tone of the NHC is, I got some inside info. They're watching this close. I mean, they're definitely watching this close. They're putting the word out, to pay attention to this thing evolve in the next few days as this thing tries to get going. So we're going to look at all ensembles here in a second. I did put this out earlier. These are on tropicaltidbits.com. These are the Euro AI, the GFS, and the Canadian. Blue's low pressure, red's high pressure. This is just kind of building the fact that we're going to have a frontal line coming down middle part of next week. Frontal lines lift systems, and they allow an opening around any high pressure off to the east. And they're all showing that. So the steering currently is pretty solid. When you have 4 models showing some sort of low pressure frontal boundary, lifting a system to the north, and then possibly even doing that little turn to the east that we're so familiar with in the Gulf of Mexico. Okay, so that's just the pattern of now, and it, every day we get closer, it becomes a little more confident that this is kind of the steering mechanism for what we could be seeing. Now, a couple models I pulled up just to kind of show you blended models here. This is through next week. Obviously it's all track dependent, but we're definitely starting to see hints of some pretty heavy rain. The latest GFS showing you this, if this is the track it takes, okay? And I don't got to remind anybody living anywhere right now, especially Florida, that it's not taking a lot of rain to create a lot of flooding, okay? The grounds are extremely saturated. The rivers have not gone down. And a little bit of rain, it adds up quick. And Ian didn't stall. Ian went through the state pretty quick. Also dumped 15, 20 inches of rain in spots. So, rain is going to be an issue with this system no matter what the strength is, unfortunately, because Florida is so saturated. And trust me, flooding is almost worse than a cat monster major sometimes, okay? All right, so here's the last few runs of the GFS. So I'm going to run through these really quick just to give you the consistency of some modeling. Like I said, this weekend we can start to see some sort of low pressure developing. Latest, GFS takes that track, Panhandle, Big Bend. This would be Wednesday, Thursday. It really sped up a lot, that run. The over our 12Z run, a little bit slower. But again, here's a little stronger system, 977. So that's why don't get wrapped up in these intensity models quick, because it's all what it's going to do down here. And tropical systems, don't need a lot of time to ramp up quick, especially when this Gulf water is so hot. Hottest of the year, the hottest they've been since 2013. Ocean heat content, not sea surface, but the ocean heat content. So systems can ramp up quick. Models don't pick this up early on, trust me. None of the models predicted Beryl to be a Cat 5, trust me. So we're just watching steering currents, consistency, track, timing, and this is pretty consistent here. And let's not talk about Florida. I know we're wrapped up in Florida, but if this thing cuts through the state, we're going to have impacts along the whole eastern seaboard as it angles out of here. All right, and this is just a GFS, but not to forget our friends along the whole eastern seaboard. This could also be trouble for some areas that just got the remnants of the leftover PTC8 with all that heavy rain. That was another GFS run this morning, 6Z, basically a little bit more north. Okay, so again, three runs, boom, boom, boom. But that's really good, actually agreements among the GFS. The idea of north, boom, boom. All right, that's the last 3. Let's leave it there for those. Let's look at the Euro AI, the 12Z I haven't even looked at. So there's 1,001 2 millibar. It's on Wednesday. This is, to me, the crucial time we really need to watch this thing, what it does here in this Yucatan gap. The Euro AI, a little bit more towards the Florida Panhandle. Now it evens it down to 964. So again, we're not really looking at intensity right now. Intensity models don't do very good this far away. Track models do. So again, there's the latest Euro AI, then overnight or 6Z Euro AI there. So again, okay, you kind of seeing where we're worried a little bit here. Okay, here's Thursday morning. Here's Friday morning. So we'll talk about impacts and timing and what things could mean when you can, we're in the early stages of the what if. I talked to 10 different people today. nobody knows about this. And this is the problem with most people turn off the news. It's fall, it's football. I told 2 people today, they thought I was joking with them. I'm like, we might have a hurricane coming this weekend or next week, right? They're like, yeah, right. I'm like, yes, right. So it's important to get the word out this far advanced, because if you got plans, conferences, boats, that's why it's important to me to share this. I know there's a ton of online Mets warning people like me, but I've been doing this since we started doing this. It's 16, all right? So there's nothing different what I'm doing, but people are being told not to look at this type of data, but it's worked for us, and it's not for everybody, but it puts everything in perspective a lot easier when you look at models and consistency and then understand the patterns of what's causing this. Not, I used to just look at models and not know the weather. Now I really understand the weather in tropical systems, and it makes sense. We got a cold front coming down. These things are attracted to cold fronts. They turn a little bit at the last second. Sometimes unexpectedly they turn a little more. Cold fronts actually help feed these systems. They pull in moisture around our system and help actually ventilate it. So, it could be getting into a very favorable environment here of low wind shear. So these are things that, I know it's hard to look this far ahead, but, things are lining up that make sense that this could be, something to really watch. All right, so let's look back at some other models. That was the last couple runs of the Euro AI. The last 2, let's show the last 2. And the last couple Canadians. So here's the last 12Z. This is Wednesday morning, 981. And it's a little bit more up this run, 970, 960. Strong, but trend's the same. And then last night's Canadian, about the same. But again, there's that little hook, that little tug, the little turn. So I'm not showing, let me show you the Euro. The Euro's not really showing much, but the Euro this season has been terrible with anything. You can see a little piece here starting to show on Friday, but Euro has not done good at all this year with tropical formation, tropical genesis. Okay, so it's not been a good model, point blank. Sorry, I'm not cherry picking the best models. 3 days ago, I shared the 3 that have been the best about predicted models. The KMA, the Euro AI, and the Canadian have been really good about early system detection. The Euro has not. So the years that we used to say Euro is king, I don't think that this is the year for that. It's already failed a couple times this year. So I'm not putting a lot of stock in the main Euro run at this time. And the Icon, which we love, doesn't go out far enough to really take serious yet, because it's not going out very far. But it is showing a low pressure of some sort developing down here. The Icon's been late to the game this season too. So let's look at the latest KMA. It had a wacky run. So you always throw out the outliers on runs when you see consistency. So it did one of those weird Western runs. We'll see what it did this afternoon. I think we have a 12Z that it ran, maybe 12Z, and it, yeah. See, that's the outlier. So every model has its day, but that run seems very odd. Now here's the one from last night. So we'll see what tonight's run does, but this has been the trend on the KMA. In the UK, it doesn't run far enough out yet to really look at, so we can't do that. But we can look at some ensembles here. Let's take a look at Weather Nerds. So when I share these ensembles, now let me go back to the water temperature. Some of the reasons, I'm obviously always watching the Gulf. Ocean heat content is incredible. I know I showed this morning, but the red, that's the hottest water has ever been since 2013. Water is fuel for hurricanes. This is a very interesting map from Brian McNulty down in Miami. Measures the ocean heat content, and it shows you that. The blue is the average from 13 to 23, and our red is the hottest the Gulf has been since 13 as far as the ocean heat content. So all the hurricanes we've had since 13 have had a lower heat content than what we're seeing now. So there's a lot of fuel out there in the Gulf. The Eastern Gulf is warmer than the Western Gulf. Western Gulf's had Debbie, Beryl, it had Alberto. So the Western Gulf's a little cooler. We're worried about the Eastern Gulf now. We got a big loop current coming up here. This is the underwater currents that are very warm. we have a very warm area of both sides that our system could feed off of as this thing goes north. Even though our system, let's say if it's even here, it would be pulling in this warm water as it wraps around and develops. So, I don't have to remind anybody, if you've watched me, I say it a lot, but in the continental United States, there's been 10 hurricanes that have been 150 miles an hour or plus that have made landfall. Okay, 10 continental U.S. hurricanes have been 150 miles an hour or greater. Okay, 9 of those were only tropical storms 3 days away. So things can happen quick. Okay, that's why we don't look at these intensity models right now. If this thing gets its act together somewhere around that Yucatan, it's trouble, and that would only give us a few days. Okay, that's why we're watching this thing close this weekend down there in the Yucatan. So let's look at some ensembles here on Weather Nerds. Weather Nerds are good for that. Now let me explain a little bit about these ensembles and show you what they actually mean here, because a lot of folks I think I lose them when I show these ensembles sometimes. So when you see an L, basically it's the end run. That would be where the system would be. So let's fast forward these ensembles here and go out in time, and you can see here right here. So this would be Wednesday morning. You can see this right here, Wednesday 12Z. Every one of these little L's is where the different computers, this is the Euro. So the Euro, 51 members. There's a lot of ensembles here. Out of that 51, good support. That's the end of that L's work could be Wednesday morning. All right, that's the system. Remember, system's big, so don't think it's only here. It would be big here, right? The system's large and wide. We focus on that center all the time, but usually your conditions are 12 hours ahead of that. So if we see a center Wednesday morning here, you could have been affected, Tuesday night in the same spot because our system, is wide. And then, we get into 10 days and here we go. So there's the Euro ensembles. You might say, oh, there's all kinds of stuff. But the thing you're looking at is there's quite a few following that pole to the north and to the turn. There are a couple in the Western Gulf. Definitely, this is why we show this. It's just, to me, from what I've seen over the past, doing this, that seems not very logical when we have a cold front coming down. As long as all the models are showing that weakness and that breakdown, then likelihood of this thing is going to be more north. The GFS ensembles, a little more aggressive into Florida, a little bit, and a few more storms to probably worry about. So, what the heck's going on here? Anyway, all right. So here's the end of 10. This is Monday afternoon. They're already starting to sneak in, a couple of them, and you can pretty much see, quite a few strong ones 10 days out that already passed through the state. So, it appears it's a midweek system next week, as early as Monday, Tuesday, late as Thursday, Friday, but it still has that midweek, end of the weekend feel before it races on out of here, and then it could be an East Coast problem. If it skirts the eastern seaboard on its way out of here. So, some of these are pretty strong. Again, we're not looking at intensity so much, but we just got to know from common sense and history, anything down here can ramp up pretty quick that far ahead. A couple things I guess we can look at real quick. I want to look at surge or shear, just to kind of see if we're getting long range estimates on wind shear out ahead of this thing. These are not frequent. All right, let's do another click here. This one right here. We're going to go to the Caribbean. And I think we can get shear on this one. I think I might have to open it up, though. Yeah, it doesn't run on this one. So we'll do tropical Atlantic and do shear anomaly. Nope. How about Caribbean? Gulf? Maybe they haven't ran yet. Oh, that's an Ernesto. What the hell? Why am I on an Ernesto? That was weird. Somehow it's defaulted back to Ernesto. Maybe not. Let's see here. A couple more anomalies. They're just not running shear anomalies. All right, let's. Oh! Popped right up. It was just loading. Darn it! It just took a while. Let's see if it pops up here. No. All right, let's go to GFS. They both give pretty common shear indicators down the road. So let's go to Caribbean. And all right, so we're going to look at our system as it pulls north. That's your mean. That's your Ensemble mean. Let's see, anomaly. Yeah, let's see, this is a little lower than average. This is green, white's normal, green's below normal. You know, we have something called an anticyclone setting up over top of it. That would indicate ventilation and, you know, strengthening system. So we could have a definite, you know, favorable environment for this to try to develop. This would be Thursday as it lifts up out of the Caribbean. So, all right, and there's all the ensembles going into Florida there. So that's it. I mean, I don't know more to say than that. So, cause to be nervous? No. Aware? Yes. Cancel plans? No. Just, you know, God, this thing is just, you know, sneaking up on us. So tomorrow I'll be really interested. We'll have a lot of overnight model runs tomorrow, and we'll definitely be able to see what the 00 suite says. Again, there's no low pressure right now. It's all speculation. You know, it's a guessing game. It's a lot easier when there already is an invest, but you know, it's the end of September. The waters are hot, and again, rapid intensification systems are very possible with that much water temperature. So, you know, you don't want to turn your back on this thing. And Helene is the next name. It's not an ice storm. So, yeah. Hurricane Center is talking about it, Debbie. Yeah, it's a yellow circle now. It's, you can see it on my website. By the way, I don't know if you know this, but I have a website. A lot of y'all don't know this. All this stuff's on my website, mikesflavorpage.com, spaghettimodels.com. I have an app. The app is really popular. You can subscribe. I have a free version, and I got a paid site for $2 a month that has a lot of stuff. So you can check that out. You can watch the Daily Brew on there. So yeah, just stay aware. You know, let your Southeast Florida friends know. Yeah, East Coast kind of be aware. You know, but in the immediate short term, it would be here before the following weekend. Okay, this is you know, 23rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. We're not talking. You know, it's sneaking in on us. You know, like I said, the Keys could start to feel it as early as Tuesday night. You know, Wednesday. So that's, you know, less than a week almost. But that's where we're at. You know, developing tropical systems in the Gulf are always watched. Central American gyre systems sometimes take a long time to develop, but they're also large sometimes, and they're a lot more moisture, a lot more juice, a little more powerful, a little more surge. So they could be sneaky. But yeah, Jake's dentist said he ain't putting up his. I'm not putting up my 12-foot skeleton. I can tell you that. So yeah, I'm excited. You know, just anxiously the edge of my seat a little bit. Wait for it to exit the Yucatan. I mean, it doesn't look like it's going to do anything until we actually see it develop. So it's still several days from that. I mean, we probably wouldn't see any sort of low pressure showing until Sunday-ish. So yeah, right. So there you go. But we'll talk a lot more in the morning. Yeah, the Gulf's kind of record warmth, Jennifer. Yes. The ocean heat content is the hottest it's been since 13. That's the ocean water temperature below the surface. So yeah, thanks everybody for thinking. Last CAG system, I don't know, Jason Triplett. Some people are saying, do I sleep? I do sleep, so about 5 hours. I'm about 5 hour with a nap. One eye open, Trisha. Heck yeah, there's a few models showing this thing exiting Florida and maybe skirting the East Coast. So yes, always watch these exiting systems that get wrapped up in a frontal line. They do tend to move fast, but it can still be sneaky, for sure. I mean, and when we can go to Tropical Tidbits here, I think one of the GFS runs showed that possibly hugging the East Coast a little bit more on an exit of Florida. Right there, see it? So, and it's still showing 988, over parts of the Carolinas. That's just one run of many, The reason that meteorologists are warning everybody not to look at these things is because they do change. But it also keeps everybody aware, I think. It does for me. I love tracking tropics, so I'm going to keep tracking tropics. So my alert level living where I'm at is pretty high. I can tell you that. Florida West Coast. Maybe it'll change tomorrow. We'll see. That's what we do. It's a long way away. So wouldn't make any changes anywhere. I wouldn't be making any, cancel any events. None of this is final. Bottom line. But the NAC's marked it, and now we know it's kind of official. So. All right, so we'll go more in detail tomorrow with potential impacts. We'll have a lot more things to look at overnight, but nothing's really changed with that pole to the north and developing system as it approaches the eastern Gulf of Mexico. All right, so have a great night. We'll see you for sure at 9:19 Eastern Wednesday morning. All right.